I I mentioned in my last video that I used to smoke. Now, there were a lot of people that told me I should quit smoking, doctors, family members, etc. Um, I was able to quit smoking inside the house or in the car when we were traveling, uh, mostly because uh, my youngest son had some serious health problems and he didn't need to be around smoking. Um, but I learned something early on. That saying is true. Quitting smoking is the easiest thing I've ever done. I bet I did it 1,000 times. Now, um, the way this happened was I got to where, like say, I wouldn't smoke in the house. I would go out on the back porch, and there was a little storeroom of sorts back there. And in the winter, or if it was raining or whatever, I would go out into that little room and smoke out there. And I would smoke like, a half a cigarette, stub it out, put the leftovers, if you will, in there, and then smoke the rest of it. Well, that's how I cut down. Um, but there were uh, things going on in my life that uh, made me realize uh, just how much I needed God. I was not saved at that time. Uh, but when I did get saved, I used to carry my cigarettes in my shirt pocket. Well, when I quit carrying cigarettes there, I couldn't uh, find anything when I reached in my pocket. When you're a smoker, when things get slow, uh, you're not really doing anything. The first thing you do is you reach for that cigarette. Now, to give you something to do, for lack of a better thing, um, and a lot of you know this. I went to the county jail in the place where I worked, and the Gideons put a New Testament with Psalms and Proverbs as well. They would give those to the prisoners. Now, the prisoners had to they were a captive audience. A lot of them got that, what is known as jailhouse religion. Uh, you know, they needed God because they were in trouble, but as soon as the trouble ended, they don't need God anymore. That's what jailhouse religion is. Um, and when they would leave, they would put these New Testaments up on the bars of their cell door. And I knew this, and I asked one of the jailers to get me one in good condition. And I would carry that Bible in there where I used to carry my cigarettes. And I quit smoking because when I would reach for a cigarette, I would pull that Bible out, just open it up, read a verse or two, put it back in there, and I knew that worked. That's how I ultimately quit smoking cigarettes. I didn't do anything spectacular and in and of myself. But after I got started reading my Bible, I would, just kind of open it up and go to reading. And one day I found this Bible passage that I'm about to read to you. And I understood this. I'd read it before, but I didn't really understand the concept until after it came to light, as it were. God showed me this. This is in Luke chapter 11. And this is starting in verse 24. When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and finding none, he saith, I will return unto my house whence I came out. And when he cometh, he findeth swept and garnished. Then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits, more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. So basically what that means is, if you give up something bad, you need to replace it with something good. So when that bad spirit comes back wanting in, there's no room for him. He's not going to find it clean and garnished, ready for something to move in, because you've already replaced it with something good. Just like I replaced the bad cigarettes with the good Word of God. So, it's just like a lot of people, they try to quit smoking. They want to replace the cigarettes with gum. You're better off replacing it with the Word of God. This can work in any situation, no matter what you're trying to give up. You can't just quit something and think you're okay, because you're not. And that tells you that right there. So if you're trying to give up something, replace it with something good. And there's nothing better than the Word of God. I love y'all. We'll see you next time.